I forget where I heard this quote or saying or whatever. Maybe it was a podcast or something, but it resonated with me. And it's about the idea of like pressure and overcoming challenges. But quote is just pressure is a privilege, and I I don't know. It kind of like brought me to the themes of this book because I think a lot of people in their minds when they approach like a big event or race day, they might try to like tone down the pressure that they put on themselves. But I think like maybe all of the greatest athletic achievements ever have been done under pressure. And I think it's not necessarily about like toning down the pressure, but you know, looking at the pressure or those challenges, difficulties as an opportunity to do something great and, you know, dealing with it, like making the most of that, and looking at it as not an obstacle, but you're privileged to have, if you have a lot of pressure on you, it means you're probably doing something right to put yourself in that situation. So I don't know. I kind of like stuck with that. Pressure is a privilege.
I love that. Yeah. And it's not something to be avoided. I think that's a big thing. Um, and to your point, like if you lean into it a little bit, that's when the greatest performances of all time happen. Because you can channel that nervous energy into excitement. And when preparation meets that, it seems like an obstacle, that pressure, but I mean, it can be a performance enhancer too.
Yeah,
I think go ahead.
I mean, I was just gonna say, I think I heard that same thing. I was trying to figure out if I read it in a book or what, but I think I remember them going on to say something about how like the experience of pressure or like what it feels like is like it's how your body processes or like how you think about like the adrenaline that your body is like going through or like the adrenaline of that moment about to happen. And so like it can really be a calming thing to like ground yourself and just be like, pressure is what I feel when my body is telling me that like it needs to perform. And so instead of like allowing pressure to feel like nervous, anxious energy, it can feel like a calming thing that your body is ready to like put out the performance that it's able to do, you know?
Yeah, I love that. That's
Yeah, I was reading this book, The Extended Mind, that I think just came out recently. But one of the chapters was talking about like the book's about how like your thinking isn't done inside of your skull, it's done with your brain, and then also like with your feelings and with your like the body, the physical sensations of your body, and with other people and with your physical surroundings and stuff like that. But the author was talking about sort of about that same thing about how like people who are like really attuned to their bodily signals, this what she calls interoceptive awareness, can sort of like reprogram the what they think about those signals or what they think how they interpret those signals. So like one person who might interpret the feelings that you get when you feel like you're under a lot of pressure as like I'm anxious and I'm nervous and these things that might performance, like you can just as easily, or not easily, but you can sort of use these strategies to kind of reprogram how your body is interpreting those feelings or how your brain is interpreting those feelings and messages from your body to be like kind of like you were saying, Derek, like that you're excited, you're ready, you're like primed to get shot out of a cannon, and that you can't completely fool your body to say that like when you're feeling like that you're actually not nervous at all. Like there has to be something that's like adjacent to it, but anxious and excited, that's like a pretty short jump to make, and can be a big difference in terms of like how how your brain is responding to those signals, and then how that's or I made the extra leap of like how that can fuel performance.
Yeah, you think about just like what you mentioned and the experience and how much you've raced. For example, like I'm sure when we all first did our first race, or first triathlon, the way you felt then versus the way you feel when you do 10 of them or 50 of them,
Yeah.
you start to understand what your body's going through and the emotions you're feeling, and you can kind of channel that energy. So I think a lot of it comes down to experience too. The more you're doing it, the more you understand how you can use that in a positive way. Just like, work, for example, like if you have a new project or something you're working on, or you might get overwhelmed at first, but then you understand like you're not going to get any better if you don't face that challenge.